this position together after rook f4 and bishop takes g4? How do you keep this?
I actually think it's crucial to start with rook f4, which he does. Look at how precisely.
Yeah.
Because if he had taken on g4 first, the knight would have jumped out to your square, cutting off the rook and actually winning the f6 pawn back.
That's a great point.
Now you're taking on g4, or White's got to trade off one more knight, and we know that when you're up in exchange, every single minor piece trade favors the rook side.
That's right, and it's all about the king side pawns here, Daniel. Those queen side pawns for black, they're going nowhere, right? They're just on the board merely to satisfy material equality or something like that, because it's all about winning that g pawn, maybe the f pawn, and black creating a pass pawn supported by his rook,
which he now is guaranteed to do. To add insult to injury, if you take the bishop, black's rook takes back, attacks f2, and if the knight drops back, the rook moves back to f4, and the knight can't guard f2 and g4 at the same time. Hikaru desperately trying to create counterplay on the queen side, but all he's done is fixed black's pawns further.
That's right, although it was a very interesting move, actually. He was daring black to take on b4, and then he would cut the rook off, but instead Wesley stayed focused. He said, look, the most important pawn to win is on the king side, and he's done just that. f5, though,
great
loses
move.
Another pawn, but then he picks up f2.
He picks up f2. Now he's got a pass on f5. This is on the cusp of being winning. The game not over yet, but Hikaru down to 10 seconds, and Wesley has kept himself with 40 seconds on the clock to convert this advantage, and it's push time.
That's right. He needs a dark square blockade. He needs a knight on f2. If he can get the knight on d5 to the f2 square, that's going to be it.
Yeah, he needs to travel all the way back. I like to move bishop f3 here. That actually forces the trade of knights, but Wesley goes c6. Obviously,
that looks like a good move too.
If Hikaru wins this passer, that's the worst case scenario for Wesley. Two knights and 3 pawns against rook, bishop, and 2 will be a draw.
That's not enough.
If the pawns are on the same side.
Wow, rook g1, the patience to play that move. He doesn't want to advance that pawn, Daniel, because then the king might get to e3. You have to be very careful. Don't let white control the dark squares in this position.
Yeah, it's not a race. It usually is a race with the pass pawn. Here, you want to push the pawn under the right conditions. Hikaru's going to try to get his king to d4. Again, the point is to meet f3 with king e3. Now, a strategy Wesley could adopt is to shove the rook to b2 at the right moment to distract white's king.
That's right.
But king c3 right now comes with tempo. Hikaru's holding on. He's doing what Hikaru always does.
Yeah. Amazing resilience, good defense. Another, oh my goodness, knight
Wesley
h5?
might have blundered the pawn. Knight back to f3.
Yeah, he has rook g4.
But he's got bishop g4.
Oh, bishop g4 is even better.
But is that resulting position a draw? It is. I think it might be a draw after bishop takes f3.
Bishop f3 takes state. Oh, rook f2 is unbelievable.
Oh, and now he goes knight e5, and he's going to win the bishop back.
King e3, he's going to be temporarily down a rook.
But Wesley's going to win the b4 pawn. Rook f8 and rook b8, or rook f1, rook b1.
Yep.
And I don't know how to evaluate this position. He's going to have a passed a pawn. This has to be winning him on.
Yeah, my instincts say this has got to be winning. He's got a pass pawn that the king cannot touch, right? The knight has to bring itself to the b file and act as a shield so the king can walk over.
So the king can walk over. It also can, I don't think he's got time to do that. I think he's got to use the knight now to stop the pawn. But how is he going to do that? And he resigns, and Wesley wins with the
resignation.
Black.
And I mean, this is probably dead in the water, but that was still an early resignation for me. We know how resilient he is.
94. Actually, I think Hikaru missed that he could go 94. We're going to wait and watch the reactions on camera.
Yeah.
I think Hikaru could have continued the fight there.
I absolutely do, but in the end, he made his decision. He did resign that game, and now the lead with only 1 game to play.